Oh, now we're live. Okay, got it.
Yeah, now we're live.
Now we're live. Hi, Bandit. How are you?
The first of the first.
Yeah. I just put the thing. I was like, oh, it's 8:30, and then when you're like, oh no, I can't do 8:30, I was like, okay, now it's 9. Sorry.
No, it's fine.
Yeah. Hi. So did you get your 20 questions? I'm such a
I
nerd. I got so
I
excited
did.
about this. I don't know why.
Do you want to go first or should I go first?
Did you want to like go back and forth? Like,
Yeah, I
is
figured we would like just go back and forth.
okay. I'm totally down with that. Now, again, some of my questions, I don't know if Bandit's still here, but or anyone else who cares to listen to this later on. But it's just a kind of just to get to know us. We're just asking some fun questions, random questions. I added a few serious questions as well. But just to kind of get to know our personalities, I think, put each other on the spot.
Yeah.
Like, let's see. All right. So my number one or my first question is your number one pet peeve.
Um, my number. Okay, I would have to say it's when people are eating and they bite down on their spoon or fork and you can like hear their teeth like
Yeah.
biting on the metal. That drives me nuts. And also popping of joints. I hate it when people pop their joints. Like, I get if it's accidental, but if you're doing it on purpose just to annoy me, like, no. I don't know what it is. I just hate that sound for some reason.
Uh, yeah, the teeth one, I get that. Oh, it's like nails on a chalkboard. Oh.
Yeah. It's like, why are you biting your spoon?
Like
You're
metal,
not
that doesn't
supposed to
feel
bite it.
good. I totally get it. I totally get that one.
Yeah. Um, okay, my first question is what is your favorite scent?
Ooh, my favorite scent. I would probably say a there's one that I have, it's a vanilla slash lavender mixture. It's very subtle, it's very soft, and it just smells really nice. In fact, like all of like my Downy, like my fabric softener is all like that lavender vanilla stuff because I just love it.
Oh, okay. I
Mhm.
I like vanilla. I'm not a huge lavender fan though. I don't know
No?
why. Yeah. I like vanilla, but I also I really like the smell of cherry blossom.
Oh, see, that one's a little too harsh for me. I would say probably my second one would probably be um, like a soft eucalyptus.
Yeah, eucalyptus is nice.
Oh, yeah, yeah, I like eucalyptus, especially like in the shower. So Bandit actually asked us the question: what do you plan on covering on your channel? Do you want to answer that one, or do you want me to?
So we pretty much just plan on covering like, about like different types of things. So, like, talking about like feminism, talking about like women's roles in society, talking about like educational stuff for women. Um, yeah.
The cultural behaviors that we're now seeing as well,
Oh,
um,
yeah, that too.
with women, and like probably we'll probably dive into like the aspects of social media.
Yeah.
Um,
There's
but
gonna be a lot.
yeah, that's our goal. That's our goal.
Yeah.
And
To
just
kind
kind
of go
of
through like all aspects of women in society and their lives and stuff.
yeah, and I think also too one of the biggest things we talked about yesterday was the role that feminism has actually played in all of this as well, and how it has actually affected women. Um, and then also our take. I think because we talked about this on our walk, um, like our um, oh gosh, let me find the right words. Just how feminism is affecting society, but then if we can just be some type of guidance, if there are any other women that eventually listen to us, you know, we encourage them to maybe look up what we're talking about, or you know, think about it, see if what
Yeah.
we're saying is true, and if it is, then we encourage, of course, women to you know, of course, look at their own behaviors. That's the biggest thing, accountability for themselves. So
Yeah.
do you plan on just you two talking, or collabs as well?
I think we might end up doing collabs
Mm-hmm.
in the future. Like
Yep.
right now, it's just the two of us talking. But I would hope that in the future we'll be able to do collabs
Mm-hmm.
with other people, maybe some other content creators. Because there are some other content creators on YouTube that I know I would like to do collabs with. I don't know if we'd be able to because some of them have pretty big platforms, so trying to
Mm-hmm.
collab with them is a little difficult. But
Yeah.
if we can't collab with them, at least being able to share and talk about some of their content.
Mm-hmm. I think we both agree that we obviously, if we do any collabs, we want men and women
Yeah.
to be able to talk. But the biggest thing, though, we both agreed on is um, we're not going to deal with any type of disrespect or any of the drama that
Yeah,
can
no.
sometimes come with that. So if we have to, we will simply let the person know, like, you know what, we're done with this conversation. If you can't be respectful, we're done. And we're just going to shut it down right away.
Yeah.
Won't know until yeah. Yep.
What were we on? We were on question
Number
number 2, I think.
Yeah. So my question is, have you ever disliked something and then changed your mind?
Um, hmm. I mean, there's been quite a few things I've disliked and then I've changed my mind on.
Can you name
That's a tough one because it's like I'm trying to think like obviously food, like everybody's disliked food, a
them?
certain food at some point and then changed their mind on it. Um, I would probably honestly say lipstick because I used to hate wearing like lipsticks and lip glosses and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then I ended up I changed my mind and I actually started enjoying wearing them. Like
Mm-hmm.
I think part of the reason why I hated it was because of like some of them that I can only wear certain ones. Like makeup is so tricky for me because I can't wear just any kind of makeup. Like I have to wear certain brands or certain kinds because I have such sensitive skin. And a
Mm-hmm.
lot of the times a lot of the glosses or lipsticks that I would get would like make my lips feel very irritated, like really dry and itchy and just like I was having a reaction to them. So for a while I wouldn't wear any of them, but then I actually started finding brands that didn't do that and I actually enjoyed them.
Yeah. I can understand that. I think though too though, going to like a lipstick thing, like it reminds me of like when I see pictures of my grandma from like the 50s. You know, with like her, you know, like those dresses they would wear and her heels, and she'd have a little shawl on, and then she would have like her little, you know, her lipstick was always perfect. I don't know why, but it just reminds me of that.
Always
But
being the bright red lipstick.
oh yeah, you could pull off red, I can't. So you do
Like
that.
I can pull off red. I personally don't like wearing bright red though. I usually tend to
Mm.
go for like darker colors whenever I'm wearing a lipstick. Not like super dark. Well, I have wore super dark lipstick before, but now I typically will do like browns or tans or maybe even like a not like orange, but kind of like a orangish like brown kind of color,
You
and then
brave.
maybe like a dark red. I do have purple lipstick, like a dark
Ooh.
purple, but I like rarely ever wear that because it takes like a certain kind of makeup look to actually make that look good. Otherwise, it just looks weird.
Oh yeah, you're more I guess a little more fancier than me. You know me, I'm chapstick.
I usually wear chapstick if I'm not wearing any kind of lipstick, just because
Hmm.
I obviously to keep my lips moisturized because otherwise I'll start picking at them and then yeah, that's a terrible habit that I have. So I
Yep.
usually try to keep them moisturized and I usually like I don't wear makeup very often mainly because like it's a lot of work. If I wear makeup, I put a lot of work into it. Like I'm doing like the full face, you know, the eyebrows, the shadows, the liner, the lashes, the highlight, the contour, like all of
Why?
it.
You don't. I mean, we've seen each other face to face, girl. You don't need that. And
Oh, I
I
know
think.
I don't need it. That's why I usually the only time I ever really wear makeup is for like special occasions.
Oh, okay.
That's like the only time I wear it because it takes so long to do and it's so tedious. It's like I can't stand trying to do it every single day, so I only wear it for like special occasions.
All right. Okay, fair enough. Bandit does say if you don't want the drama, I would honestly make a one piece of paper of your rules and consequences and make it available for everyone before you do a collab. So you're upfront with everyone. Openness and honesty is the best way, and it builds mutual respect. I do agree. I think that is something that we would, if we do, or once we do invite, you know, if this grows, um, if anybody does come up, I think that is something that we would always be upfront about. It's not like, oh, you're being a jerk, off you go. I think Harley would agree with me on that one.
Yeah, already having a set of established rules that we would share with them before we do
Hmm.
anything, just so then we have an understanding of
Yeah.
what the boundaries are.
Yep. All right. Your question, girl.
What color nail polish do you prefer?
Uh, I can't. I don't remember when the last time. Um, I don't really paint my nails. Um,
If you were to paint your nails, what color do you think you would go for?
deep purple because that's the best color in the world. So,
I like for a long time I used to only do black, but I've kind of gotten more into doing either now I prefer to either do a French nails or
mhm.
I'll do like a very light pastel kind of color
um,
instead. Like sometimes I'll do my nails in black because the nice thing about black nails is that they can kind of match anything. But same thing with like the French pedicure is that they can match anything. So
no, because you know me, I'm ripping things out of my walls. I'm patching things up right now, painting, and
see, I it's funny because I prefer to have acrylics on than having my natural nails because my natural
Mhm.
nails have always been very thin and short. So
Creators.
I
Pick
like
a
having
creator.
I like having good acrylics on. Not, I don't like going to like, you know, the cheap places to get my nails done. I like to actually have them done well and properly because a lot of places they put like way too much acrylic on there.
Mhm.
It's like it gets super thick and it's really annoying and it just doesn't look good. Um, but I tend to like I'll go to places where I'll pay a little bit more so then like my nails are done a lot better and by having those acrylics on there like I don't break my nails as often. I don't really break my nails, I rip them. Like that's they're like very thin and flimsy so they don't break, they like rip. So yeah, I like having acrylics on. Plus, I don't know, it just like whenever I get my nails done, it changes my whole I wouldn't say like mood, but like kind of my personality. Like I feel a lot more feminine whenever I have acrylic nails on. I don't know what it is about them, but
Yeah. I mean, I can understand that. The only time I haven't gotten, I can't tell you the last time. I mean, my nails are just my nails. I mean, I take care of them. They're clean, everything. It's just there. But the last time I did it, my husband though likes it if I do because I give him the head massages with them. And because,
yeah,
you
the
know,
head
the
massages and
head
the back
massages are from,
scratches.
yeah, that's when he's like he'll ask me sometimes, are you gonna go get those nail thingies? And I'll be like, do you want like a head massage? It's
The
like,
nail thingy.
right.
Yeah, like my natural nails, like I keep them clean. I do file them often because I don't like having like I'm weird. I like to have my nails to be round, so I don't like to have any flat edges on my fingernails.
Hmm.
So I usually, I keep them really clean because I hate having dirty nails. It drives me nuts. Um, but I prefer acrylics over my natural nails because then it's like I don't have to worry about damaging my natural nails so much, like them getting caught in stuff or ripping, or the worst part is when they bend on something.
Oh.
It's such a gross feeling.
Oh.
So yeah.
These are down my spine. Ugh.
Plus,
Okay.
I love the sound of like tapping the acrylic nails on stuff. I'll do that so much whenever I get my nails done. Drive people crazy with it.
All right. Let's see. Is it my turn to ask a question or is it yours?
It's your turn.
My turn. Okay. Um, our third question. Who or what inspires you?
Who or what inspires me?
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. I guess it would depend on like what it is specifically, but generally as far as inspiration goes, That's that's a tough one for me because it's like there's like a few different things. Like some of the people that I watch on YouTube, that I follow, some of them like I watch a lot of different things on YouTube, but a lot of the stuff that I watch, at least when it comes to like my day to day life, is I can't remember the name of the channel and I feel so bad. um, but I think it's called like Imanu or something, but she's a Japanese housewife and she makes these things called husbentos. And literally they're bento boxes that she makes for her husband for lunch to take to work, and they're amazing. Like they look so good, and every time I watch her videos, it like inspires me to like want to, cook for my fiance, to want to cook food for him and make really good lunches for him.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there's another channel that I watch. I can't remember her name, but I like to watch her channel because she does like a lot of different like feminine, like styled feminine looks,
Mm-hmm.
and how to like dress feminine, I guess. Like she shows off like a bunch of different like outfits and stuff that she has, and I really like watching those, to kind of help me, know how to, I guess, dress better.
Yeah.
Which I'm still working on that. I'm still working on building my wardrobe towards that, but that's another good inspiration. And then um there's another girl on YouTube. She makes a bunch of like random kind of shorts that she puts together, and she never shows her face, but it's like of her like how she organizes, like she'll do like a video of her like organizing her office space, or her like organizing her fridge or her kitchen,
Mm-hmm.
or her makeup routines, her like cleaning routines and stuff like that. And like the organizational videos, I am obsessed with. I love watching those. I don't know what it is, but I like every time I start watching them, it's like, oh my God, I want to go clean and organize my house now. Just watching them clean and organize and restock everything. Even though like there's not a whole lot left for me to like clean or do, it still gives me like inspiration and stuff of like, oh, that's cool. I could do that,
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
I totally get that. So I'm right there with you. I have like a bunch of like a bunch of cleaning hacks stuff that I like save all the time, and then I try it out and I'm like, it actually works. Okay. So I feel you. Yeah. Because I mean, you want to clean home. Like that was like one of the biggest things my mom always taught me. Um, like you always want to clean home before guests come over, like always sweep, mop, vacuum, wipe things down. If there's dishes, make sure you put your dishes away. Just clean up your home. Make it look presentable.
Yeah, and I mean,
Um,
I do that whether I'm having guests or not, just because I
mhm.
can't stand having a dirty space. Like
Yeah, and
I can't stand it. I don't know why. It bugs me.
well, yeah, absolutely. And like one of the biggest things too is like, because I don't work, my husband works, and one of the things is I like him coming home to a clean home.
Hmm.
And so, like, obviously I clean throughout the entire day, but then, like I make sure like I clean up like his desk that he does his gaming on and all of that. Like, I was just I try to keep things clean because it's like, I don't know. I can't stand dirty homes. I can't stand
Yeah, and
things.
plus I like to keep it clean because it's like, if you clean along the way, it's like less like
Mhm.
major cleaning that you have to do. Because then that way, like on the weekends and stuff, the only main thing I usually do is I clean the bathroom, like completely clean that, and then
Mhm.
I will do the floors.
Yeah.
And that's mostly it because everything else was cleaned and maintained throughout
Mhm.
the whole week. So when it comes to like cleaning day, the only main things I really clean is my bathroom and then my floors, and that's about it because everything else has already been cleaned.
Yeah, I get you. And then like if you have like a list of days where you do certain things and like certain chores that you do like every single day, and then you kind of break it down, it just makes life easier. Your house is always clean. It always smells good. And if your home is clean, I feel like, at least for me, I feel happier, and I know my husband's happier. And yeah, so it's just nicer. All right.
Okay. How many pillows do you sleep with?
I was gonna say I sleep with three. I like to be cocooned.
I
Like,
I
I need to
sleep
build a
with
fort.
so I like to sleep with two pillows. Um, but one thing that my fiance will do, because he wakes up like really early in the morning, like at least 2, 3 hours before I get up.
Hmm.
And I have a hard time sleeping when he's not in the bed. So he'll take his pillows and he'll like put them up against me. So then it's kind of like, while I'm sleeping, like my mind thinks that he's still there, but he's not.
Oh yeah,
So I usually wake up with like 4 or 5 pillows around me.
yeah. No, actually, thinking about it, I started the cocoon thing when my husband was deployed, because it was so weird not having him in bed with me. And so I would literally just kind of wrap myself with pillows, like as if, he was there again. Because, like my German Shepherd would, he's like, I'm hot, and he'd get off the bed and walk away. And so I'd be stuck with I'm like, I need something like solid next to me. So yeah, I can understand that. I can totally get that.
Yeah, I definitely want to get one of those body pillows.
Mm, I can feel that. All right, the next question, I just picked a random simple one, totally, probably a completely girl question, but your favorite color?
My favorite color is purple.
Woo woo. The best color in the world.
Hmm.
All right.
What is your favorite dish to make?
Oh, baking or cooking?
Cooking.
Cooking. Okay. Um, shoot. So I would probably say for my husband, my one of my favorite dishes to cook for him would be he loves my meatloaf, mashed potatoes, and I usually do like steamed broccoli. Um, I would say it's probably one of my favorite ones to cook. And he also loves my salsa. Yeah, I'd probably say my meatloaf and mashed potatoes, and I do the steamed broccoli. I think that's probably one of my favorite ones to cook for him because it's just I got his mom's recipe because he didn't like my mom's recipe, so I went and got my mother-in-law's, and it was just compliments galore. And I like I'm a acts of service kind of love. I like that's how I express my love. And so the fact like if I can cook like a really like good meal that I know that he likes, that's healthy for him and everything else, it makes me happy. And so I'd probably say that one because he actually, and I did not tell my mother-in-law this, but when he tried it for the first time when I actually made it, he's like, this tastes like similar to my mom's. And I was like, yeah, I got her recipe. He goes, okay. And after he was done eating, I was like, I always ask him, how was it? Was it good? Did you like it? And he's like, honestly, it was better than my mom's. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. That made me feel good. Thank you. So I'd say that one. Okay. Which family member has had the greatest impact on your life?
Oh, um, the greatest, like positive or negative?
Positive. Positive. We're going to keep this one.
Um, Positive impact. I would honestly have to. I would have to say my uncle Dan,
Mhm.
because he, growing up, with my parental situation,
Mhm.
um, he was, well, he still is. He's like the kindest man ever. And he actually took his time to give me a childhood that I would have never had without him. Like,
Mhm.
I got to have so many amazing experiences because of him. Like, he, every year he would get me a season pass to go to Six Flags, to go to the amusement park. Like, every day throughout the summer, I would be there. He would, like, take me out to the movies. He would, take me out shopping to buy like toys or games. Like, essentially he spoiled me, but at the same time, he gave me a childhood.
Mhm.
He really helped me out a lot, and he was there for me during the times when I really needed him to be. Like, he was there when my mom passed. He was there when my dad passed, and
Mhm.
unfortunately he was the one who had to break that news to me. But he had always been there for me as a kid. And I would say, like, out of anyone in my family, he's had the biggest impact. Like, he drove me all the way across the state to go see my childhood friend when she moved. I mean, he would take me out to go travel with him. All sorts of things. So yeah,
Mhm.
I would say if anyone's had like the biggest like impact on my life, at least positively, it would be him.
Okay. Sounds like a good one though.
Um, how many hair products do you use?
um, Shampoo, conditioner, uh, leave-in conditioner. 3, maybe 4, depending. Oh, I got a thing though for since we moved here on the East Coast for humidity. So I guess 4.
Oh, so like a defrizzer kind of thing.
Yeah, I use a obviously shampoo, conditioner, and then I use a leave-in conditioner so that way my hair is just nice and soft and shiny. And then I added this little cream thingy to it to keep the frizz down because my
Okay.
dad is a white man with an afro and I got curly hair underneath. So,
I use shampoo. I use 2 different types of conditioner. And then I also have a leave-in conditioner. And then depending if I do my hair or not, I'll also use hairspray and a heat protector.
mm,
Um, but as that's so that would be like 3, 4, 5 different stuff. 6. Yeah, like 6 different things that I would use, but I don't use the heat protector or hairspray all the time. Like that's only if
mm,
I like straighten or curl my hair. But I have naturally curly hair,
mm-hmm.
and so I use 2 different kinds of conditioner because I have a conditioner that I put in to help retain moisture in my hair, and then I have another one that's actually for to help make my hair curly. So
Oh,
I'll like whenever I wash my hair, I condition it first, and I'll condition my whole scalp with that first, and then I'll rinse it out, then I'll shampoo it, and then I'll condition it a second time, but I only do the ends of my hair,
oh
and then
girl,
I'll
that's too
rinse
much
that
work.
out, and then I do then I do a leave-in conditioner when I get out of the shower.
I'm like, no, that's too much work. I need like a 5-10 minute shower. Like I gotta get in and out.
Yeah, my showers are kind of long because they're like a good 45 minutes.
No, nope. My water bill, nope. We got like 2 minute showers and it's out. Like I got bills. I can't do that. um, so this one I thought was interesting. I, I wrote it, of course, but is there something about your personality you think you should improve on?
Hmm. Something about my personality.
Yeah,
I
because
would
you can
have to
name
say maybe my childishness. Childness? I can't say the word, but you know what I mean. Like sometimes I can be a little bit too um playful to where I might get a little bit annoying sometimes. Like I act a little bit too immature for my
Mhm.
age sometimes. Like I just get into like these goofy, playful moods, and yeah. And sometimes it has annoyed my fiance a couple times,
Mhm.
but I've been learning to kind of tone it down a little bit. Like if I get into a childish mood, to be like, tone it down a little. Because sometimes like I might start to get like a little too whiny, or get a little bit too pester, a little too
Mhm.
much.
The nagging? Do you do the nagging?
I don't really do nagging. I more so
Mhm.
just do like whining and just like pestering
Okay.
mainly. So yeah.
I feel that. I think the only childish thing, I think we all have some childish, behaviors, and I think that keeps people sane and young. Because I mean, I think everybody needs that in their life. Obviously, of course, there's a limit that we should, put on ourselves, so that way we know when to take things seriously. I think overall, as we've gotten to know each other, I feel like you seem to have, you seem to understand when to take things seriously and when not to. Um, so, but you know what though? I mean, if that's something though, I mean, I think that's a fair. You know your personality the best, so.
Yeah, like I would say probably it's at its worst getting up in the morning because I hate getting out of bed. So
Um,
yeah, that's when it really shows.
you would have not liked living with my mom. So my mom has a beautiful singing voice. I can't carry a tune in a bucket, but my mom actually has a good morning song. And so, like, my mom's the kind of mom where we'd wake up like at 5:30 and we'd hear like Shania Twain blasting. And my
Oh,
siblings and I would
geez.
get out of our rooms, and my mom's sitting there like dancing and like mopping the floor while singing. Um, or
I
she'd like
can't.
bust in our room and sing her good morning song to us. It was at first, you know, like as a kid, you're like, oh gosh, but now as an adult, I'm like, oh, I'm singing this song now. Becoming
I can't remember the name of it, but you probably know what it is. It's that I don't I don't know if they still do it or not, but my dad was Navy and they used to play that trumpet tune in the mornings to like wake them up over the like speakers and stuff. I
oh
can't
yeah,
remember the name of it, but my dad used to do that to me in the mornings to get me up for school. And then when we got our cat Princess, he trained the cat to come upstairs into my room and pester me to get me out of bed. Yeah, taps. Father Sanders got it. It's called
yeah,
taps. Yeah, my dad used to play that to
yeah.
wake me up in the morning.
Better than mine. My dad just had that booming. My dad was Marine Corps, so he would just come in like he'd open the door and then his voice would just boom and you just jumped out of bed. Like you did not dawdle. You just jumped out of bed.
I don't know
And
what was worse, my dad doing taps or him training the cat to come upstairs to get me out of bed. Like she would straight up jump on top of me and bite my nose until I got out of bed. Like she was so persistent. She would not stop until I was out of the bed.
yeah, I'm gonna pronounce it wrong. Sorry. Taps is at night. Um, or no, it's retreat at night. And then is it I'm gonna probably pronounce it wrong. I'm sorry, Saunders. Is it Revel? Reveal? Revel in the mornings. Retreat is at night. Revel's in the morning. Yeah, I think that's what it is. Yeah,
Um
I can't. I think I'm pronouncing the word wrong, but I remember retreats in the evening because it's at 5 o'clock or sundown, and then sunrise and sunset. So,
what is your preferred way to have your coffee or tea?
so I actually don't drink a lot of caffeine due to my heart condition. Um, if I do, it would be I usually do a decaf Earl Grey, and I literally just do straight Earl Grey. I don't add any sugar, any sweeteners to it. I just like the flavor of it. Or I do a decaf iced tea with just some lemon. I don't like sweet tea. I wasn't allowed to have a lot of sweets as a child, and so trying like I remember I tried sweet tea for the first time, and I literally felt like I was going into diabetic shock. It was just too much. Um, so yeah, I just do straight Earl Grey, hot like Picard. No sugar, nothing else on there. And then I do an iced tea. I always aim for decaf and just some lemon in it. So I'm pretty boring on that aspect. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
kind of.
I usually it depends. Like I usually prefer to do an iced coffee,
Hmm.
but sometimes I will do like a small frozen coffee. Otherwise, if I'm at home, I have a Keurig, so I just drink like I
Mm.
don't it's weird because like I'll make my cup of coffee and then I'll let it sit to let it like cool down to room temperature and then drink it. Like I don't really like to drink hot coffee. I prefer it to be cold or
Yeah.
iced.
Yeah, I don't understand. I'm not a big fan of hot drinks. Um, Father Saunders did offer his corrections. Taps is at the funeral. Um,
Okay.
yeah, that is correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, And I get emotional too, Outlaw, with taps. We actually had it. My grandfather was a veteran as well, and we had it at his funeral, and it just breaks you down. Mm. It's not that I dislike sweet tea, Outlaw. It's that it's too sweet. Like I wasn't allowed to have a whole lot of candy, so I have a very, very low sugar tolerance. Like if I get like a candy bar, which I rarely ever do because I'm not a big fan of them. But like I'll take like 2 bites and I'll hand the rest off to my husband. Like,
I have a limit. I
me.
have like a limit whenever it comes to sugar. Like
Yeah,
I can only tolerate so much of it. Like I have a point to where something is just too sweet to the point to where it just sounds like gross.
yeah. Like I don't mean like I'm probably like the most boring person in the world. My husband, I don't really like carbonation either. So like I'll open a soda if I'm thinking like if I want like a soda like a flavor. Like my husband gets Diet Dr. Pepper, so I'll open it and then I'll put it back in the fridge until the carbonation is gone, and then I'll drink it. So I'm weird. I don't understand. All right, my question. Again, another random one. Just what's your all-time favorite food?
My favorite food?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know the name of it or if it really has a name, but my favorite thing to eat, it's a recipe that my aunt actually makes, and it's like it's like cut up pieces of beef, like stew beef, and it's fried and then boiled. And then you take it and you make a broth, and then you pour it over, like you lay down biscuits, and then you put the meat on top of the biscuits and pour the broth on there, and then you layer it with the other half of the biscuits, and then you bake it. And I don't know if there's a name for it or what it's called, but
So
it was one of my favorite things as a kid.
is it soggy?
It's the biscuits, so like the biscuits on top aren't. The biscuits under, it's kind of like it makes them into like a dumpling. So it's kind of like chicken and dumplings, but it's with beef,
Oh,
and it doesn't have like the noodles. It's just biscuits.
huh.
I don't know
I've
why,
never
but I was
heard of
like,
it.
I was obsessed with it as a kid. It was my favorite thing.
All right. Well, you'll have to make that for your fiance. See if he likes that one. Okay. My next question is, what would be your top 3 compliments about your fiance?
My top 3 compliments about him.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, geez. I would just have to say honestly, just how good looking he is. Like it's crazy to me how it kind of baffled. Like maybe it's just me, but I swear it's like with how good looking he is, it amazes me that other girls don't find him attractive. But I will say that in high school, he did have a box haircut, so maybe that's why. But
Like instead of like a physical, like what about his personality that you would say would be a good compliment? Like if somebody asked you about his personality, about his character maybe instead of
personality wise, he's pretty calm. He's a really like calm, cool, collected kind of person. Like he never loses his temper or anything like that. He's pretty laid back. He's he's very trustworthy.
Mhm.
He's never like lied to me or broken my trust or anything like that. Um, and he is hardworking. Like he is so committed to the things that he does. Like I honestly don't even know how he does it sometimes.
Mm.
Like it baffles me because I know for me it's like I could never I could never do that. I don't know how you do that, but yeah, like I know when he was one time when he was working, he had to stay up for 72 hours straight.
Oh.
And I was like, how? How do you do that? Like, I can't even do like 24 hours straight anymore. I used to do it as a kid all the time, but now I
Mhm.
can't do it. I struggle so much. And then I'm like loopy the whole day. But yeah, it's when he dedicates himself to something, he like completely dedicates himself. It amazes me how he does it.
Yeah. It's a good quality though. Because that's not just like with work, but that can be, um, the hobbies, things that make him happy, just life in general, just, um, and of course with marriage on the horizon as well, and hopefully like children in the future too. That's something I think that's a good quality to have.
Yeah, he's definitely to me at least, he has good qualities to be a good father. Like he's very
Mhm.
committed, he's very trustworthy, and he's not like super serious or like he's serious when he needs to be, but he
Mhm.
also has like a playful side to him as well.
Mm.
So
That's good though, because I mean, dads. I mean, dads. They're they should be the grounding force in the family, if you will. But it seems like the dads are always the one that kind of bring out the like that happiness out of the children, like that playfulness that you see a lot.
mm,
They're the ones who typically, of course not all the time, but typically they're the ones that the dad jokes, the ones that get on the ground, the one that teach. Obviously good mothers teach valuable lessons too, and so do good fathers. But then having that, I think it's healthy to have, and that's good to see because you obviously if you're going to marry a man, you want to make sure like does he have qualities that I would want our children to have.
I
Um,
know he's been practicing his dad jokes. I get to listen to those like every day, including the laugh. He includes the laugh afterwards.
little
And
knee slappers.
just slapping whatever nearby surface there is as hard as he can. Like he goes all the way out whenever he does it.
I find that stuff adorable. I think it's hilarious. So, hey, more power to him. Right.
um, what was your dream career as a kid?
Dictator.
A dictator?
Mhm. I was a big fan of Pinky and the Brain as a child,
Oh, okay.
and I honestly like. I remember being in. It was like second or third grade, and like how they ask you, like, "Oh, what do you want to be when you grow up?" And I literally put dictator, and my teacher, because like I was really small as a child, very small as a child. Um, and like my teacher was like, "Oh, you're so cute," and she tapped me on the head, and I was like, "No, I'm serious. Like I want to be a dictator." So that was my dream job as a child. My second one was I wanted to be a veterinarian. That was my fallback plan was veterinarian. So yeah, until I learned that I would have to possibly do surgery and cut them open, and I squeal at the sight of blood. I'm not very good with that stuff, so that was nicked pretty quick as well. But yeah, dictator was my job.
I actually wanted to be a meteorologist.
See, that's sensible.
Well, I was like, I grew up in the Midwest and I have experienced tornadoes several times. I have been hit by a couple of them.
Mm.
And growing up having it's weird because it's like I actually have like PTSD from those.
Mm.
And so it's like I'm absolutely terrified when there are storms, but at the same time I am fascinated with them. Like it's such a weird thing. Um but like I never ended up going into meteorology, but I have taken the time to like study the weather and how to read like different weather maps and radars and understanding like what conditions cause what, like how the storms work and everything. And anytime there's any kind of like severe weather event, I'll usually track it. Like I have a whole setup. Like I'm watching a live radar. I'm watching. There's a couple of YouTube streamers that I watch them on their streaming. I watch Storm Chasers. I'll watch social media and keep track of social media and what people are saying on social media about the storms.
Mm.
Mainly just like during like major weather events or outbreaks is mainly when I do it. So
Uh,
so
yeah.
I'm kind of a weather nerd.
Hey, you know what? We all have it. Outlaw says that he was actually hit by a tornado in 2011, and that's I am I grew up on the West Coast, so I'm used to earthquakes. And when we had to drive across country to where we're at now for my husband's job, I remember I was terrified because we had to drive through Kansas and Nebraska and all that, and I was just like, what if we run, like, what happens if there's like a tornado? Like, what do we do? I don't know. What do we do? Like, do we find like a ditch? Like, what do we do? So I was not a happy camper. I was like gripping the steering wheel, and because like they were they were talking about like Tornado Alley and all that, and I was like totally that's like the time I was googling all that, like looking
Yeah,
on.
like
I was
it's
not.
I actually, yeah, in 2011, I got is when the second time I got hit by a tornado. The first time is when I was like, it was back in when I was like a baby. So it's funny because like I don't even remember that, and it still ended up traumatizing me, even
Mm-mm.
though I don't even remember it. But apparently the experience has stuck in my brain, even though I have no idea what it was.
Yeah. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. I don't. Yeah, I'm not
Uh,
a.
I've had a couple of close calls. Luckily, they missed. They like one of them just literally barely missed us, just barely. But yeah,
Mm-mm.
I think I've been in 4 tornadoes in total. 2 were direct hits, and 2 were like literally across the street from us. So yeah,
Yeah. No, I'm.
yeah. 2011 was the one of the major tornado outbreaks years.
Yeah. Give me an earthquake any day. I'll take an. Yeah. Mm-mm. So my next question for you is, if you could name the top 3 qualities, what top 3 qualities make a good wife?
Top 3 qualities that make a good wife.
Mm-hmm.
Well, hmm.
And not just make a sandwich.
No. First of all, being submissive.
Okay.
Um, being patient, because that's another big one. Um, and being committed.
Hmm. I do agree with those. I would.
I mean, there's
Many,
like a
but
lot of qualities, but at least to me,
yeah.
I would say like those are 3 like really important ones. Because I mean, you don't have to be a great cook. You know, you can, especially like nowadays, like you can kind of get away with not being that great of a cook. You know, there's cheats and stuff that you can use if you're not that great. Because
Mm-hmm.
I actually have a sister-in-law. She's not that great of a cook, so I taught her some like some cheats, you know, to use that like, hey, you can still make good food, you know, you gotta cheat it a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
but
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think yeah, I definitely agree with those. I think probably one of the ones I'd add on my list would be respect is a big one. Um,
that's what I was saying, like being
yeah.
submissive
Yep.
kind of, I guess, falls into that.
Yeah, absolutely. Respecting, because when you submit, you're respecting his headship and his authority. So I do agree with those. I like those ones.
I guess it's my turn. What is the most memorable place you visited?
Oh, most memorable. Um, Probably the most memorable would be I was in Lourdes, France. Um, and it's a holy site for Catholics. There was an apparition of the Virgin Mary there, and it was so calming, so peaceful. And at night, they actually did. I mean, there's people there from all over the world, and the one thing that we all had in common was we all shared our faith together. And even if we weren't able to understand each other, you know, we still had that familial bond, if you will. And I remember it still makes me smile is that at night when the sun went down, um, they light candles and everybody prays the rosary together, which is a prayer in the Catholic Church. And it takes about 20-25 minutes. But the person leading, they actually had different people leading it and they all spoke in different languages. But because obviously if you know your prayer, you know, if you know your rosary, you know, like you can follow along very easily. And it was just this really just beautiful spirit. It was just this beautiful experience. And I think that's probably, I would say that would be like the best place I ever visited so far. Um, I would love to go back whenever I can. I'd love to go back. So yeah, that would be mine. Um, Mine is just kind of a simple one this time because I figured I was asking a couple of harder ones. What's your favorite season and why?
My favorite season would be fall.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Mainly because of sweater weather. I love wearing hoodies. I love wearing cardigans. I love wearing, you know, fluffy sweaters. So like yeah, I love wearing that stuff in like the fall time is like the best time because, you know, in wintertime it's a little too cold and in the springtime it starts to get really warm out, and after you've been in the freezing cold for like several months, the last thing you want to wear is a sweater.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love the fall time. Plus I also love it because it's a beautiful season. There's
Mm-hmm.
so many beautiful colors. Like the weather is just really cozy. Like it just the aesthetic of it, it's just amazing. I love it. Plus, I also love the holidays. It has the two best holidays of the year. You know, Halloween and Thanksgiving. You just
I'm a
to me,
Christmas.
you can't beat those holidays. Like Christmas, Christmas is okay. So is New Year's, but I kind of prefer Thanksgiving and Halloween.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, that's fair. All right, another hard one for you. How do you deal with arguments with your fiance?
With arguments, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, hmm. I mean, we don't like we definitely try to avoid arguments or confrontation as much as we can. But um just like communicating and talking to one another and just like getting to an understanding where each of us is coming from and just explaining like, you know, why we're doing something a certain way or why we feel the way we do, and just like having open communication and, you know, just talking with one another, because um it's it's important to it's important to understand each other and where each person is coming from, because even though you're in a relationship to get together, you're
Mm-hmm.
also still your own, you know, person. So you might have a different view on things compared to them. Like I know we've had a situation before where we we just had a different viewpoint on something, and we were trying to come to an understanding to explain why we have that viewpoint and why we see something that way. And it's, you know, it just comes down to different life experiences, you know, different roles in our lives. Like, you know, just at the end of the day, even though we're a couple and we're working together, we're also our own people at the same time. So it's having that understanding of that and learning how to communicate through that.
Okay. Have you guys read the Five Love Languages?
I haven't, no.
If I can offer some marital advice on that one, I would really recommend it. Um, just because even if you aren't religious, like even if you just took the religious aspect out of it, understanding how you each view love and how you receive love, um, because obviously that plays into obviously even just how you communicate, and obviously that can play into, you know, lack or bad communication obviously is what leads to arguments. And kind of figuring out just how you perceive things, how you take things in. Like for instance, the two of them that my husband and I are. I'm a acts of service. My husband is words of affirmation. So I view love by him, obviously, like, you know, him working, like taking care of us. Like, you know, I'm like, oh my goodness, he loves us so much. He loves me so much because he's doing this. Or, oh my goodness, he, you know, he helped me, you know, I don't know, take out the trash or something like that. I don't know. You know, just something like that. And like, you know, it kind of like, I'm like, oh, you love me. And whereas, you know, like, oh, like I don't need to hear it very often. I'm more of, I receive it by how people do, you know, like an act of service. And that's how I show my love as well. Like, um, you know, how I show my appreciation for him is I keep, you know, I keep the house clean. I cook for him. I make sure everything at home, like he doesn't have to do anything at home. He can just come home and relax because he's working. And so that's my act of service for him. And that's my way of saying, I love you. Thank you for everything that you do for us. Here's my return for that. Whereas him, one of the things that we learned, and we actually went through a marriage retreat that the Army offered for it. Um, his is words of affirmation. And oddly enough, a lot of the men, well, not oddly enough, but a lot of the men that were in our group with us did rank words of affirmation as their top, because you obviously you're rated throughout, and they can change as you grow and you develop, and you know life changes things. But a lot of the men did have words of affirmation as well. Like for instance, like if we speak, in a disrespectful tone, if we're impatient and that frustration comes out, that seems to kind of that hits a lot. Obviously it hits people, but in particular, for my husband, he's like, I need to hear that you respect me, that you appreciate things. And so it became almost like, because we were like, debate, like, kind of arguing, like, why can't you do this for me? He's like, why can't you say this for me? And then when we finally read the book together and we actually went on a marriage retreat together and did all that, it kind of just clicked in our brains. We're like, oh, because we're speaking a different language on how we perceive things and how we show our love and affection. And so if I can offer any advice on that one, take it or leave if you want to, but I just highly encourage it. And I know the military does offer through the chaplains services. They offer free marriage retreats, and he has to sign up for it. You can't, only he can. And it's a first come, first serve basis. But I always encouraged any couple to take advantage of those, because they really do help. And then of course they bring in military life and the difficulties that come with that as well. Because there's different arguments that I feel like there was, speaking to civilian wives and then military wives, there's sometimes different arguments and different struggles that come with military life that the civilian life isn't going to have. And that can bring in a completely different stress and aspect into your marriage. And if you don't really know how to combat that, it can really wear and tear down on marriage. But there's my advice if you want it.
Yeah, I'll definitely check it out.
Yeah.
What class did you hate the most in school?
Math. In particular, geometry. I absolutely.
See, I didn't like math. Like, it wasn't my favorite, but I would say my hardest subject, which is funny because it's like required for the field that I'm in, was trigonometry. That always trips me up.
I don't mind algebra. I was fine with algebra. I'm great with algebra. I can do algebra. Geometry, trigonometry, once you start getting into that stuff,
like it's weird. It's like I'm good at algebra and I'm good at geometry, but for some reason trigonometry just like messes with my head. I don't know why, because literally pretty much all it is just a combination of algebra and geometry, which I'm good at them when they're separated, but then when you put them together, it's like, oh my gosh.
Too much. Honestly, once I got into those geometry and trigonometry, my brother's older than me, and when I was in high school, he was in college. And my brother is a math person. In fact, his degree is in finance. So I would write his college English papers, and then he would do my high school math for me. And we just kind of traded off, so that way we could figure out, that way we could both pass our classes. He got a lot better at writing. I did get better at math. Algebra, I'm fine with. I understand it. It's just I don't like the graphing. I don't like the points. I don't like. I'm thankful there's people that have it.
The graphing and points weren't too bad for me. It was like when you got into like the tangent and cosine and stuff, which in machining, it's actually really important for you to know that, because you need that in order to like read blueprints and figure out dimensions and stuff. So I just ended up having a cheat sheet with me. I had like a little machinist handbook that like had all that little stuff in there. So I had to use a cheat sheet because I just could not retain it for some reason.
Yeah, yeah, math is, I just, it's my the one thing I've always struggled with. So yeah. But so my question again, a simple one, because again I asked more difficult ones, but just your favorite animal.
That's actually a hard one for me because I love animals.
Hmm.
I would probably say cats
Cats.
because I relate to them a lot more on like a personality kind of level. Like, I'm pretty I'm not like antisocial, but I'm not like like social butterfly either. Like I'm a homebody. I just like to lay around and chill. I like to be clean. But at the same time, like I have my moments where I just get like super playful and hyper. So yeah, I just feel like on a personality level, I relate more to cats.
Hey, we all have our things. So
um If you played in a movie, what
mhm.
movie would you be in?
Ooh, Pride and Prejudice.
Okay.
Without a doubt, Pride and Prejudice. Maybe Persuasion. Pride and Prejudice. Yeah, Pride and Prejudice would be my top movie. Yeah.
Okay then.
It's just, yeah, that's my, I'm a big Jane Austen fan. So, um, okay. Do you live by any motto, um, or piece of advice for your life?
Um I actually have my own motto, which
Okay.
I use this like all the time. And it's usually whenever somebody asks me like why would you do something or why would you do this or whatever, and my response is always because I can and I want to. That's that's kind of my motto because I can and I want to. There's your answer.
Hey, we all have them. We all have our own mottos.
I started saying that I think in like my freshman year of high school, and it just kind of stuck.
Oh. See, then I hear my dad's voice in the back of my head. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. I think that's all I hear is my dad's voice, like in the back of my head. And I'm like, okay, all right, daddy. Oh, all right.
Um, what makes you not trust someone?
Oh, it takes me a while to trust people. But what would make me not trust them?
Yeah, like I guess like based on like when you first meet somebody and your first
Mhm.
impression of them, like what would make you not trust them like immediately?
Um, well, that's a good question. Um, I would say if they are, so if they are like overly dramatic friendly, like they're trying way too hard to be friendly, or if they, and then the opposite, if they're standoffish. Um, I don't know why, but both of those, like, it just seems like if you're overly friendly, like you're like, and I mean, I'm not like just someone who's obviously a cheerful person, but someone that you can just tell, like, it's
Yeah,
just they're being awkward, like it's not authentic. Because then my first response is, well, what are you trying to hide from me? And then if they're too standoffish, and I get people are introverts, my husband's an introvert, um, But if they're so standoffish to the point where it's
They're like rude about it.
yeah, where it becomes rude, um, I'm like, well, I don't want to deal with you. Like, I just, I obviously, again, I try to account for people's personalities. I try to give people the benefit of the doubt overall. I do not trust quickly. That's how come I have very few friends. But I would say those would probably be my two top things. Yeah, those would probably be my well, yeah, I'd say those would be my why I wouldn't trust someone right off the bat. So, okay, I got another hard one for you. Would you rather someone be honest but hurt your feelings or lie?
I would rather somebody be honest and hurt my feelings because lying is like I don't like it. Like it just makes me look like a fool, and on top of that it's like if you tell me the truth about something then we can actually like sit down and work through the issue.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're lying about it, then there's nothing to be solved.
Well, then it also brings up, well, if you're willing to lie about this, what else are you lying about?
Yeah, like it makes you like for me it's like especially if it's like somebody that I like want to spend my life with or something. It's
Mm-hmm.
if you're willing to lie to me about this, what would happen if we had kids?
Right.
What would happen, if something else was going on when we were together? Like how far would you go? And especially if you like especially when you start like getting kids into the mix of that, it can get really bad and really messy.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, it just makes me not want to trust them at all because at least if you're honest about something, then we can actually like work through it.
Right.
But if you're lying about it, then how are we supposed to solve the issue if you're just lying to cover up the problem?
Right. I agree.
Um, what is your weird food combination?
My weird food combination. Um, so I have a relatively high tolerance for spicy food. And so probably one of the weird things that I do is like, say for instance, if I have like a spicy chip, um, I like dipping it in spicy sauce. Like I like making it spicier as much as I can, because I feel like the generic stuff is never spicy enough. And so when I don't eat them anymore, but when I used to eat like flaming hot Cheetos, I would actually have a little thing of Tabasco so I could dip my flaming hot Cheetos in Tabasco. And I still do that with like spicy, like if I get like jalapeno chips or even habanero chips, I like to dip it in something even spicier so I can make it spicier. So
I
that would
don't know.
probably be
I think
weird.
that is like more extreme than weird. Like I have a weird thing where I like to put peanut butter in ice cream.
That's good
Like
though.
actual peanut butter with ice cream. A lot of people
Well,
think it's like
it
really weird, but
it depends on what kind of ice cream though.
like I usually only do it with like generic vanilla ice cream. That's
Oh,
really the
vanilla
only
ice.
ice
Yeah, I
cream
can
I like
do
to do it
vanilla.
with.
Like it'd have
But
to be.
I mean, you could do it with chocolate ice cream too. It
Yeah.
works. But
Because I make nice cream, which is because I can't have dairy. So I do the almond milk with like frozen bananas and like you blend it so it turns like an ice cream consistency, and you can put peanut butter and then I'll do like cacao chips, like chocolate chips in there. They're like a vegan chocolate chip, if you will. And that's
Yeah,
delicious.
I don't know what it is, but it's like a texture thing for me. Like I really like the texture of the peanut butter
Well,
with the
peanut butter
ice
is life. Peanut butter is life, and I mean it's delicious.
cream.
So I don't find that weird. I think I'm like I can get down with that. That's normal. So that's normal to me. So you're normal, Harley. It's okay. Okay, another harder one. What is one thing you hope to teach your future child or children?
One thing I hope to teach them.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I hope to teach them a lot of things, to be honest.
But what would be like the top thing, like the one thing that would kind of encompass it all?
I guess to teach them, I guess like to teach them life lessons. Like I know that's like really like broad,
Mm-hmm.
but just teaching them like life skills and just how to live and survive out in the world. Cuz like I
Mm-hmm.
know that's like one thing that a lot of people and especially women are just not taught. Like we're not taught how to live and function in the world. And then you go out there and it's just like I have no idea what I'm doing. Especially like when it comes to like the finances and even just like self-care and stuff. Like
Mm-hmm.
you're so lost when you first go out. So it's being able to teach them and prepare them for that, you know, like what the real world is going to expect of them, what they should expect of themselves, what they should expect of other people.
Okay.
um what is your favorite thing to wear?
My dresses. I mean, you've probably seen a couple of them. I just like I guess they're like spring, summer dresses. Um, I love wearing those. Um, they just make me feel pretty. My husband loves them, and so I pretty much try to buy them in every color that I have because he likes them so much. So I just, I'm like, oh, I'll just buy every color they have and just go from there. So that would probably be my that, and then I'd probably say, um, like my flip flops. I'm obsessed with flip flops, so that would probably be my overall theme, if you will.
My favorite thing to wear is hoodies. I don't know what it is. I love wearing hoodies.
Yeah, they're
I
comfortable.
usually always get them like a size or two bigger, so then they're kind of like
I
loose and cozy.
Yeah, I totally do the female thing, and I steal my husband's.
Oh yeah, definitely.
They're so much bigger, and they're softer,
And they smell like them too.
and they smell like them, and they just feel like because he's like 9, 10 inches taller than me, and obviously outweighs me, and so it's like it's like I feel like I'm just kind of like wrapped in a blanket. I feel you on that one. All right, another hard one for you. As a woman, what is your definition of success?
My definition of success.
As a woman, yes.
Oh boy. um, I would say honestly, being able to commit yourself to someone or even something, like commitment, because I feel like commitment for women is hard. Like
Mm.
it's hard because it's a very, like, committing yourself to something that's very, repetitive, and to not, get bored of it, or not, resent it, or not, you know, be too content with it, like becoming a little too content with it. Like commitment, I feel like is like one of the hardest things that women struggle with.
Hmm.
So being able to fully commit yourself to something, I feel like is a good definition of success.
I like that one. I think that's something maybe we should talk about on another stream. I'm going to write that down. I think that's something I've always heard the gentleman mention with, like I think it may have been Better Bachelor who said it, where he said that men are islands and women are boats. And, and you do hear, of course, you do hear that phrase in the MGTOW Red Pill communities as well, like, women are only as faithful as their next option. I may have stated that incorrectly, but the general idea of that.
Yeah.
And I think that may play into as well, like, like how we were talking last night about the social media influence and how women, we do, or I say we in the royal we, like it was all women. Without proper leadership and authority, we create that hive mind, if you will. And women tend to follow that queen bee. And I think that's something that we could definitely explore and talk about, because I think that's something that I think really hits a nail on that one. So I'm going to mark that one down. I like that one.
What music do you listen to while driving?
While driving, driving, it depends on my mood or like how far I have to go. But I switch in between, and it's more so I like songs versus genres. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So like I'm that annoying person that I keep changing the radio station, or I keep flipping through songs until I find one I like, and then I'll stop, and then I'll do that again. But I typically, like, my radio stations I usually have country on. I have Christian on, K-Love in particular. I listen to a classical station. And then if I'm feeling like more like I have some frustration, then I'll put on like some Sabaton or I like Sabaton. So I'll put them on or something, and then I think it's all history. A lot of all their songs are history based, and I love that. So yeah, so I'll listen to that, or if I'm just want to do that. And then I listen to oldies just because I used to, when I was a young girl and a teenager, whenever I'd go hang out with my grandpa and he'd take me driving, he always had the oldies on and we'd always sing it. He'd sing all the songs like Frank Sinatra, Bing Crosby, Dean Martin. So I do have the oldies as well. And then that's kind of it. I'm not a rap person. There's only like there's only like a few songs that I'm like, okay, I can like that one, and I know the lyrics. Um, but I don't like the, standard.
I kind of prefer the rap music that I was listening to when I was growing up, because when I was growing up it was a lot more like MCs than
Mm,
rappers, and I kind of prefer them over most rappers. There's a few that I can tolerate, but
mhm.
I prefer old school MCs.
Like MC Hammer or something.
not not MC Hammer. Like probably one you're familiar with is Eminem. Like he
Okay.
was an MC. So yeah.
Um, yeah, the only song I'll have to probably sing it to you, but I will not sing it on a stream because again, I cannot sing at all. But my my dad really likes Salt and Pepper, and so I always would like listen. He didn't play all their songs for me because obviously they weren't appropriate for the age. But I can sing the entire Shoop song from start to finish. So it's like my one song that I can do in that genre. Yeah, but I feel you. Yeah, I think the more old school. I would say more like, is it like traditional or classic rap?
I
Like,
guess classic. I'm not sure what they call it
yeah, I'm not
specifically, but
sure. I do know a couple of Eminem songs. I do know a
like
couple of those.
I think it's referred to as like OG, like
Yeah, I
OG
guess.
stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But
Okay.
I when I'm driving, I usually listen to lo-fi, but depending on my mood though, I
What's
might
your
change
time?
it to one of my Spotify playlists, and it's usually like a combination of like heavy metal, punk, sludge, like just yeah, like the complete opposite of the spectrum
Amazing.
from
And
one
I'm like,
extreme to
I'm
the
not
other.
down. I'm like, let's just do some Brian Adams or something. Like, or Boys to Men. Like, I like the old school love songs. Like 70s, 80s, early 90s. Like, I just love those old love songs.
Yeah, it really just depends on my mood though.
Yeah,
Like if
mood.
I'm in a bad mood, yeah.
Yeah.
But if I'm just in I'm mostly in like a nonchalant mood when I'm driving, so I usually just put on like a
Um,
lo-fi playlist to listen to while I'm driving.
I get that. I get that. All right, so I finally have a non-serious one for you. And of course, I think everybody has this. And if there's anybody still listening to chat, you can totally put yours down too, because I'd love to hear it. But what's your game plan in a zombie apocalypse? We all have it. Let's be real. We all have our game plan.
A game plan in the zombie apocalypse. Okay, to be totally honest though, it depends on the zombie apocalypse, because not all zombie apocalypses are the same. It depends on the zombies. Are these like slow,
We'll do like
clumsy
Walking
zombies? Or
Dead.
are these like, you know, really fast, violent zombies that we're
So
dealing with
instead
here?
of like 28 days, we'll do Walking Dead zombies.
I mean, in that situation, it's like, so I guess if it's like the Walking Dead zombies, one of the things that I'm gonna do is that I'm actually gonna kind of because usually when the outbreaks like first like happen, because it also depends on like where's the outbreak starting. Like I guess if it was starting with where I live, then I just hold my ground. I would just hold my
Mm.
ground for like the first 2-3 months and just kind of try to, wait out the worst of it, and then I would move. Because
Mm.
in those first, like, especially in the first few months, the first few weeks, if you're trying to get anywhere, you're realistically not going to get anywhere. You're just not. It's way, like, if it's like way out away from us, like on the other side of the country or something, like hella far, that I'm like, yeah, I got plenty of time to like, move ground. But if it's happening like right where I am, then I'm like, no, I'm gonna hold the fort down until the worst of it passes, and then I'm gonna make my move.
Okay. All right. I can understand that. I want to do the same, but I can totally understand that. I totally understand that. All right. All right. All right. What's your question?
Where is your dream honeymoon at?
Oh, my dream honeymoon. Like if I could do my honeymoon all over again, like where would I go?
Yeah.
I think my husband and I, like if we could do it, like go back in time and do our honeymoon again, we'd probably do like a 2 to 3 week trip to Europe. Because there's a couple of historical, like quite a few historical sites my husband and I really want to go to, and a couple of places in throughout Europe that we both really just want to see and experience together. So I would say it would probably be that, probably like a 2 week honeymoon trip to Europe would probably be my ideal thing.
I would pick Switzerland.
Switzerland. Yeah, Switzerland's on our list. Yeah. Our biggest one is I want to actually start off in Normandy and then kind of make our way across Europe. And then I do actually also, I've always wanted to see Scotland. I want to see those, I just want to see it. I'm not Scottish. I have no Scottish ancestry, nothing connecting me to it. I've just always wanted to see it. So, but yeah, I would definitely start off in Normandy, visit like Omaha Beach, and just kind of go from there. And a lot of my family came from France, and so I would like to see. We have a good idea. We kind of know like what areas they came from, and so I'd like to go there and just kind of look around, see where my great grandparents and stuff came from, and all that too. And then kind of move into Germany, Switzerland, and I want to go back to. I would love to go back to northern Italy. So see all that again. So that would be if we could do our honeymoon all over again, that would be probably our thing that we both agree on.
All right.
All right. Which fictional character do you relate to the most? And it can be a cartoon, it could be a book character, a movie character, anything.
Fictional. Oh my god. Oh, that I relate to the most?
Mm-hmm. That you see yourself in, or that you would like characters and traits that you appreciate.
Like I'm trying to like think through, because I've seen like so many different shows and stuff.
Like a favorite book character?
Oh man. That's a tough one, to be honest. That's gonna like take me a minute to like think on that one.
Do you want to come back to it?
Yeah, that's gonna take a second.
All All right, I'll come back to that one. So I'll ask my next one though. What's the silliest argument you've ever been in?
The silliest argument that I've ever been in.
Mm-hmm.
I've been in a lot of silly arguments, to be honest. More so just like playfully, not like serious. But I guess
Right.
if I had to pick a serious one, I guess it would have been um hmm. My brain has stopped working. Brain EXE has stopped working. Like, oh my gosh. I guess like the silliest argument I've ever been in was like this was like years ago, way back in high school, was like who was more attractive, was Kylie Jenner or freaking Kendall Jenner.
Oh goodness gracious.
And I was like, first of all, Kylie is completely fake. Like she literally molded herself to look like
The plastic
to
doll?
look unrealistic. Like completely unrealistic.
Yeah.
Kendall is actually authentic. Okay?
That we know
Kendall is
of.
the only one who has not been in any kind of drama. She's not been in any affairs. She
That
is
we
not,
know of.
you know, like she's the only one who has her head screwed on straight. Everybody else
Mhm.
in that family is just fucked up. Like it's definitely, and on top of that, Kendall's an actual like model. Like she's an actual supermodel. Her sister could never. Her sister likes to think she's that pretty, but she's not. She's just not.
I don't know enough about them, so I I'll just say, yeah, that's probably a silly argument.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
Um Here's a question.
Hmm.
Do you think newborn babies are ugly?
Like fresh out of the womb?
Yeah. Like just fresh. Like just born.
Um, I mean, I've seen a couple of them where you're just like, oh, you'll grow out of that. Um, but I mean, because they change so much. So I mean, because they're all squished up in there, and I don't know. Like when I see a baby, like my heart just kind of melts, and
Yeah. Like
I'm
I think babies are cute, but like when they're newborn, like they were just born, they
I mean, yeah, they
they're kind of weird looking.
but they changed so much so quickly. Like
Yeah.
this is in like the first week.
Yeah, because
Um,
they start getting like their skin, their skin
yeah,
tone changes, they
I
start to
mean,
like fatten up. But like
yeah,
when they're first born, they're like just super wrinkly and just
yeah, but
they're
at the
just
same
weird looking.
time, though, you're just like, oh, baby, like I just want to hold you. Um, I mean, like, yeah, there's been a couple of them like, oh, that's a cute kid. But then there's times like when I saw like pictures of like my nieces and nephews, like, like shortly, like, I mean, like, just 10 minutes after they were born, like, those pictures. And I'm like, oh my gosh, these are the cutest things in the world. Like nothing can top these kids. And so it's like, I don't know, maybe it's just because of that, oh, that's my blood, that's my family. Um, but yeah, there's been a couple of babies where I'm like, oh, okay, you'll change in a few days. It's okay. You grow into that, sweetie. So I mean, it just depends. I mean, I've seen some babies where, I love it like when the babies are born with like the full head of hair, and like once you clean them off and their hair just kind of just sticks everywhere. I don't know. I find that so adorable. So, but yes, there are some I won't say ugly, but I will say that they are still kind of squished, if you will. And so I give them time. I give them time. But for like my own family, it's I don't know. There's just something in my heart when I first saw them, and just an hour or whatever after they were born, and it's like it's like oh my gosh, I give my life for you right now. Like this is it.
Mhm.
But yeah, there's some babies. I'm like, we'll just give you some time to grow into some of this stuff. So, okay, so I'm gonna go back to my question. Which fictional character do you relate to the most?
I don't know why I can't remember her name.
Is it from a movie, a book, TV show,
It's
cartoon?
um it's from a book,
Okay.
and it's from the Hunger Games,
Okay.
but I can't remember her name because she wasn't any of the main characters. She was like one of the side characters, but I cannot recall her name.
Why did you relate to her?
Um, Mainly because of like just her mindset in the book. Like, obviously it's the Hunger Games, so it's fictional, but like
Mm-hmm.
the way that she was doing things was like just really smart. Like, not jumping in, not socializing with people right away, like just kind of waiting people out to like finish off one another and then going in.
Okay. Okay. I could see that. Like with your personality, you're more kind of a stand back, let me observe
Yeah,
first,
because I'm not like a confrontational person.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the kind of person that I would just stand back and wait until everybody finished each other off, and then,
Like, okay. Oh, so that's why you'd wait and hunker down during the zombie apocalypse. Like, let the people fight it off, and then let's just see who's left at the end.
yeah.
Got it. All right, that makes sense. Okay.
um, what is your best habit?
Oh, my best habit. Um, like a daily habit, or
Yeah, I guess just like just a habit in general. Like, what's the best one that you have?
um, that's a good one. So, hmm. I don't know if this would be like my best habit that I have, but I'd probably put it there on like my top list. I don't know if which one would be my best habit. Um, is um I don't shoot my best habit.
Like, I would say that my best habit is looking in the mirror whenever I get up in the morning. Like,
Mm-hmm.
the first thing I do when I get up in the morning is I go and I look at myself in the mirror, because honestly, growing up for a long time, I wouldn't look in the mirror. So I would have no idea what I looked like half the time, and I would usually be like a complete mess. So
Okay.
I started getting into the habit of just looking at myself in the mirror whenever I get up in the morning. And it was more so just, see what I look like and like fixing myself with, you know, especially like
Mhm.
my hair and stuff. But also just to kind of like when I first wake up, the first thing I do is admire myself. I just
Hmm.
admire the things that I like about myself to
Okay.
help give me more confidence in my self image and stuff.
Okay. Um, I I don't think I've done that, but um, I think like like my morning routine is like a habit that I've just kind of always done is I get up in the morning, I let our dogs out, I put together my husband's lunch, and I pack it everything up and I put it on the counter so he can grab it on his way out, and then I feed the dogs and then just kind of get on with my morning. Um, and I would say that that's just a habit that I enjoy doing every like Monday through Friday. Because it's again, I think that goes back to that acts of service aspect of me where I want to I like to do something for the people that I love. Like that's just how I express myself. And so like making sure like all that stuff, and like I usually like if I need to get a load of laundry done, things like that, like it's just it's like a weird sense of like accomplishment first thing in the morning. Um and like one of the things like my mom always taught us was just give a quick thanks to God for the morning, for the day, and then just kind of get on with your morning and get done what you need to get done for the rest of the day. Um so I would say probably one of my best habits is just um I try to start it off with being happy in the morning. I'm usually a pretty happy person when I wake up, and then being able to do what makes me happy, which is some type of a service for that, and like even just like taking care of like our dogs and stuff like that. I don't know why that makes me happy in the mornings. I don't know why, like just petting them and taking care of them, and then taking care of my husband in the morning, and then just kind of getting on with the rest of my day. Um, I don't know if that would really answer your question, um, but I would say that's probably like one of my habits that I enjoy doing, and it's something I do Monday through Friday. So, um, yeah, so I'd say that would probably be one of my biggest things. I don't look in the mirror in the first thing in the morning. I'm usually like, I'll give myself a moment, you know, let's wake up just a little bit more. Um, for myself personally, though, instead of just for others, I would say that for myself personally, one of the big habits that I do have for the morning is um, I have learned to um, try to start it off on a good note for myself. Like, because like when you wake up, like if you hear, like if you're, like, because like when you're waking up, like your mind's kind of blah, you're kind of still, getting up in the mornings.
Yeah.
So for my personal self, I would say that it's just I sing that good morning song in my head that my mom always sings. Um, and I think that's probably like one of the biggest things because then it just makes me smile. And
Yeah.
then I start off in a happier mood. And that to me, like the way we start off just changes the whole day. And so if I'm in a happier mood, then it's like my day is just a lot better overall. So I'd say for myself, that's like one of the biggest things I'd say. So, my last question for you: what's your most controversial opinion?
Controversial opinion.
Mm-hmm.
The most controversial one.
Yep.
Um Hmm. Out of all my controversial opinions, trying to pick the most controversial one. Like, it's not an easy thing to do. I guess if I had to rank them, uh, man, that's like, what would be the most controversial?
For example, for myself, I would probably say my most controversial opinion is when feminists say you want to set women back 100 years. I usually respond with no, maybe like 200 years would be more appropriate. And then I usually get the stink face and, the glares. So that would probably be my most controversial one. Like, I mean, we even talked about that like on our after our walk. I was like can it be like 1820? Like, can we just like kind of move backwards just a little bit?
I guess when it comes to controversial opinions, I guess I would say is fuck weave.
Oh my gosh.
like I know it sounds hilarious, but like seriously though. Like
This reminds me, Bandit was asking who was Harley. Mandy put in the chat, we've destroyed.
like seriously. Like that shit is terrible. It needs to be outlawed.
Yeah.
I would have to say that's probably my most controversial one.
Oh gosh, that brings me back to that conversation. Oh, that's funny, Harley. Oh gosh.
So I still have 2 more questions. I don't know how that happened.
I don't know either.
The last 2 are just like ridiculous ones.
Okay.
So how far would you go for a Klondike bar?
Well, I think I've only had a Klondike bar once in my life. And I would not go anywhere for one. Yeah.
I think it would depend on the type of Klondike bar for me.
Yeah.
So they have different ones. So depending on which one it is.
Mm.
And then the last one, which we kind of already touched base on this, was do you claim your husband's hoodies?
Yes, I do. Yeah, really bad too. I mean, like I'm actually wearing one right now. And it's sad because his parents gave it to him for his birthday like a couple of years ago. So I've kind of taken it over. Yeah, I do. They just make guys so much more comfortable.
I know, and it's like on top of that, it's like when you got together, what's mine is yours and what's yours is mine. So
Yeah, I mean, he can't fit in my clothes, but
it's like if you don't want me to wear your hoodies, maybe don't buy such big hoodies.
Well, and I mean, realistically, I mean, I've gone to the store where like I was getting like some sweaters for us because when we lived in Colorado, obviously a little bit colder. And I go to the women's section. I'm sort of looking at their sweaters, and the inside of them is like a little more. It's like coarse, and they're just like, when I'm wearing a hoodie, like I want to feel like I'm wrapped in a blanket. I don't want it like
Right. I want the
contouring to my
fleece
body.
hoodies. I want the the
Yeah.
ones that have like the fleece in them, because I
Yeah.
love fleece. Like I sleep with a fleece blanket. Like I
Oh yeah.
cannot sleep without that thing.
Yeah. I mean, and then you go to the guy section and you're just like, well, if I just get like a smaller medium and then I'll be good. And it's so comfortable and it's usually cheaper. Like I went and got they had the guys hoodies, not even joking, same brand. The guys hoodies were something like $10, $12. They were on sale. You go to the women's section for just the female quote unquote woman's version of it. It was like $20. Like
Yeah.
why? Why?
It's
It's the exact same thing, just smaller. Why? Why am I paying more for less?
well,
So
it's women's consumerism for you. We're the
yeah,
consumers, so typically because we're the consumers, we're more likely to pay a higher price for the same thing compared to guys.
yeah.
Because
So
guys will look at it and be like, "I'm not paying $20
yeah,
for a hoodie," but
yeah,
girls are like, $20 for a hoodie, that's a steal,
yeah.
like.
Like, oh, geez, like all of my workout shirts. I went to the guys section and got like like the 6 pack of crew shirts that they have, like the shirts that come in like the little package that they have. I just went and got some smalls and mediums in that, and I called it good. I was like, why? And then like you go to like the women's section, and just for for that, I was able to get a 6 pack for like $15. But if you go to the women's workout section for just a shirt that barely even covers your boobs because it's so low cut, or it's like a tank top that like everything's just hanging out, and yet they want to charge you $25 for that because it's a woman's shirt. And that's just, it's like, if I'm working out, I don't like, if you still look cute at the end of your workout, you didn't work out. Like, why? No, I want to be covered. I don't want that. I just want a t-shirt that'll work. I also took all my husband's old PT uniform shirts too. So, because those are comfortable
Yeah.
as well. So, for workouts. But yeah. Men's hoodies, t-shirts, they're seriously so comfortable. So,
All right.
well,
Well, I think we asked and answered all of our
all our
questions.
questions. Yeah. I don't know if any of the guys are still listening. Probably not. I remember Outlaw though. I think he said we sound the same. I wonder if he still thinks we sound the same now.
I don't know.
I don't think we do.
I like no, I don't think we do because we have different accents, but maybe it's
Mm-hmm.
because of the pitch of our
Mm-hmm.
voice and the tones of our
Yeah.
voice. I don't know.
I feel like yours is higher than mine.
Yeah, at least like it's weird to me because it's like the way I hear myself talk versus if I listen to a recording of me talking, it's like,
Mm.
do I sound like that? Like I sound different to myself when I hear myself talk versus when I
Yeah.
like hear a recording of myself talking.
Yeah. I asked my husband that one time. I was like, when I hear myself talking, like I hear like a like a deeper voice, and he's like, no, you kind of just sound like a little hamster. Like, thank you. I appreciate things. I don't know what that means, but all right, I'll take it, I
Yeah,
guess.
like I sound like I speak in a little bit. Like I still can hear that I have a high, like a pitch to my voice, like a higher
Mm-hmm.
pitch. But then when I go back and I listen to a recording, it's like it's super high pitched, and I'm like, I don't. Do I sound like that, or is that just my mic messing with me?
Yeah, well, it also depends, like if we're excited, like our pitch goes up,
Yeah.
so that changes it too. Or if we're just talking normal, then at least my pitch it drops. So I don't know, but
I
I don't
know
think.
I know the mic that you use and the quality of it makes a huge difference too
Mm-hmm.
in how
That's
you
true.
sound.
Yeah.
But I mean, eventually I'll have my actual computer set up, and then I can get like an actual mic, and I feel like that'll make a world of difference because the
Same.
cheaper mics just make me sound like I feel like they make me sound a lot more higher pitched than what I really am.
Yeah. Same. I just gotta get my new headset. So, but if anybody's still listening or ends up listening, we just wanted to do this just to kind of break the ice, kind of get some chatting in, just to kind of people can figure out, who we are, kind of get to know a little bit about us. Our next stream, we're hoping, we'll definitely build up a topic, and then kind of go through that. We're hoping to also do some research on our topics before we present them, instead of just kind of just talking, so that way we can actually show like if there's any statistics that are involved, any surveys or anything like that. We want to add those in, and I guess we'll be back. Anything else you want to add, Harley?
No, I think that's it.
All right. Well, I had a fun time talking to you, and I enjoyed our questions.
Yeah, it was fun.
I thought so. But I will, I think we can end it here, and we'll chat a little bit later.
Alrighty.
All right, girl. Have a good night.
Too.
Bye.